So I was on Get Up, and Rex Ryan, out of nowhere, just took a broad shot at Baker Mayfield. Right? He's overrated as hell. We know Baker Mayfield's overrated as hell, but Freddie Kitchens isn't helping him out. And I was like, whoa, Rex. Let's go back to that thing you just said, saying Baker Mayfield, who's only 17 games into his career, is overrated as hell. Learning a new offense with new weapons, new toys, everything like that. I mean, that can be tough. Peyton Manning, I think, threw 75 interceptions his first year. I mean, there's a lot of room to grow here. So saying somebody's overrated 17 games in is a difficult thing. Now, granted, he's in a lot of commercials. He's all over the place. The dog pound and the Browns were a hot talking topic. That's tough. That's an all off season. So we heard about it. And have they underwhelmed? For sure. But to say somebody's overrated as hell just 17 games into a career is very interesting. That has spun into a conversation where people are like, okay, Lamar Jackson has been disrespected basically his entire career. They're saying he's a running back. The Ravens had to change their entire offense for him. He's kind of been made fun of and poked fun of by all the OG quarterbacks, saying this guy's an actual quarterback. He's this. So they started saying, which quarterback will have a more successful career, Baker Mayfield or Lamar Jackson? And when I say this, I mean this. I like both of them. I'm a big fan of both of them. Everybody knows I'm on the Baker Mayfield train. I'm the one that yelled at Rex Ryan for saying he's overrated as hell. Mm-hmm. I love what Lamar Jackson has been able to do because anytime you can prove people wrong, I absolutely love that. But the name that is being left out of this conversation that I do not like one bit is Jacoby Brissett. Technically, this is only Jacoby Brissett's second season playing football. He's only 20 starts into his NFL career. Not playing football, playing professional football. He had a couple starts for the Patriots when Tom Brady was suspended due to ball situation. Mm-hmm. That happened in a game I played in. Yeah. That it was a bit overblown. But he has gotten a chance here to really take this team and make it his own. Everybody's talking, who's going to last longer, Lamar or Baker? Who's going to last longer, Lamar or Baker? Already crowning Patrick Mahomes as the greatest young quarterback ever, which, by the way, makes a lot of sense. Patrick Mahomes is in a situation with Andy Reid, though, and with a lot of weapons where Andy Reid's taking care of him. So I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a very successful career. I think Baker Mayfield and Freddie Kitchens are going to have to figure out how to take care of Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield is listed at 6'1", 214 pounds or something like that. Even though we all probably agree he's probably 6 foot tall, but in the NFL, sizes are normally to scale because at the combine, when they weigh you and height you, they literally push your head down as far as you possibly can. I was 5'11" and 7/8 the first time I was measured because I was so embarrassed to have my shirt off in front of 100 people. I was basically, my shame was weighing me down. And then the next time I got, it was like 6'1". I was like, I don't know how I grew an entire inch and an eighth, but I'm excited about that. So I think Baker Mayfield, his listed height, probably a little bit overblown, but not by much. Lamar Jackson, same thing. He's like 6'1", 215 pounds as well. Kind of a smaller guy. But both offenses require them to almost take a beating. Freddie Kitchens is using the Bruce Arians offensive style, which is a no risk it, no biscuit type operation. When you have weapons, you got to get the ball in their hands. Everything's a 7-step drop. Everything is a potential sit back there and almost hold up type ball where he's going to get blown up and beat up by defensive linemen, especially if you don't have an offensive line. I think Baker Mayfield could obviously have a Drew Brees-like career, but what Drew Brees has is an offense that is designed by Sean Payton. He gets the ball out of his hand quickly. He has an offensive line that protects him. They're going to have to do that in Cleveland if Baker Mayfield wants any career at all. Remember, the Bruce Arians offense with no offensive line is basically what happened to Andrew Luck whenever he was just getting his ass kicked. We were winning games, though. We were winning games. It was great. He was putting up big numbers. He broke all of Peyton's records for rookie year, but he was just getting his ass kicked, which eventually, took the soul out of the kid.
You were chiseling away his longevity, basically.
Could that happen to Baker Mayfield? I'm not sure. I think he has a very competitive edge. He loves where he's at. I'm not sure. Lamar Jackson, it is 100% on Lamar Jackson to be an athlete for how they are playing him. If he gets a rolled ankle, sprained ankle, that could definitely hinder the way he plays football. Now, granted, I think he's an absolute weapon, but when we're talking longevity and great career, both of those two things aren't really set up for success. Jacoby Brissett, though, who is basically the same year as though all three of those guys, second year quarterback basically, is set up for success. Frank Reich is designing plays to put it right in Jacoby Brissett's wheelhouse. Jacoby Brissett has an offensive line in front of him, not only with Earl Gray, Mr. T-Bag, Quentin Nelson, not only with Ryan Kelly, Alabama center who's finding his footing, Anthony Costanzo, West Virginia boy, and I don't know who the right tackle is. I should have known. But they have a good offensive line. They have a good play designer. They have weapons on offense, and that team, even defensively, looks damn good. I think Jacoby Brissett outlasts Baker. I think Jacoby Brissett outlasts Lamar. And then if we throw in the TB12 treatment, who we know that Jacoby Brissett is good friends with Tom Brady, I think Jacoby Brissett outlasts Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Jacoby Brissett is getting anywhere near the amount of respect he deserves. He didn't even know this was going to be his team going into the season. All OTAs, all May, all April, all June, even most of July into August. This was Andrew Luck's team. Jacoby Brissett, you were just a placeholder until we get Andrew Luck back fully healthy. The plays and the system were all designed completely around Andrew Luck. Jacoby, if you have to go in a pinch, you'll be able to do it. 8 days before the season starts, all of a sudden, it's Jacoby Brissett's offense. We were talking to Navy's head coach yesterday. In a conference call, not on this show, but in a conference call that lasted 3 hours, by the way. I was on a 3-hour conference call with the Navy head coaches, offense coordinator, defense coordinator, everybody. It was very nice of them to take the amount of time, but learning for the game. And the head coach talked about how last year they didn't give Malcolm Perry the mindset that he was a starting quarterback. They had him playing other positions, but putting him at quarterback empowers him. At a quarterback position, whenever you're told you're the guy, that's an empowering thing. Jacoby Brissett, the last 2 seasons he's gotten to actually play, he came in a week before the season started and was basically told, like, oh, it's your team now. Oh, it's your team now. I think as Jacoby continues to grow, continues to settle into his role, as Frank Reich continues to empower him as the leader of the team, you're our franchise guy. Chris Ballard pays him, breaks him off. I think Jacoby Brissett's only going to get better and better and better. And with that offensive line in front of him, he's set up for success. Unlike Baker and unlike the Lamar situation in Baltimore. Patrick Mahomes is obviously incredible. He's magical to watch. I am a fan of him, but I think in the long run, 10 years down the road right now, we're going to have a conversation where we're like, you know what? Jacoby was completely overlooked by everybody except for the geniuses in Indianapolis. Indiana! I honestly believe that.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Really?
Except for the Mahomes part.
You think he's going to last longer? You don't think he'll last longer than Mahomes?
Are we talking about like injury-wise or just how good they're going to be?
I just think in the end, whenever we're having a conversation at the end of their careers, I think Patrick Mahomes is an electric lightning rod. I think that Chiefs team is incredible. Remember, they were only 6 inches away from going to the Super Bowl last year if D Ford just lines up on sides. Now, granted, D Ford, that type of stuff does happen late in the game, especially with mental fatigue. You don't think about that type of stuff. I mean, that's tough. But they are a team that's electric. Andy Reid draws up incredible plays. But I think Patrick Mahomes even at some point is going to do too much and something's going to happen. I think he's absolutely magical with a football. I think he could throw it forever. But I also believe that Jacoby Brissett is as well. And I think Jacoby has not had an entire offseason yet. He still has yet. They're 2-1 right now. He's number 6 in passer rating right now in the entire NFL. And he did not know that he was going to be the guy all offseason. We're only 3 weeks into this thing, and he's only been the starter for 4 weeks. I mean, it's a crazy situation that Jacoby Brissett has been put in, and nobody's talking about him. And you know what? I assume he likes it. I assume the Colts like it. But it's my job as a person that talks into microphones to say, hey, Jacoby Brissett deserves a lot more respect than he's getting, and I think he's only going to get better.
Yeah, honestly. I think we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg with him.
Yes.
Where with the others, we're getting pretty much a full look of what they're going to be.
What they're capable of.
Yeah, what they're capable of.
Patrick Mahomes is throwing balls out of stadium. That's incredible. 80-yard dimes. That's incredible. Throwing the ball back foot, fade away, 60-yard dimes right in the breadbasket. Incredible. Extending plays. Baker Mayfield bringing in energy to a city that hadn't had a football energy in a long time. Their fans are loyal, but ain't nobody had any expectations for the dog pound. Years past, they actually locked up Bud Light and said, you can't drink this until you get a win. This year, Cleveland was going in there. They're bringing in high-named free agents, which would have never happened without Baker Mayfield, a quarterback. I think Baker is damn good. I think he can make plays. I think Lamar Jackson also, he came out, perfect passer rating. He has stumbled a couple of times here. Or last week he stumbled because they had him throwing the ball 43 times, which might be them trying to protect Lamar, by the way, having him throw more as opposed to run. But I think he's a real weapon whenever he throws the ball about 20 times. That was what he had as a perfect passer rating. Let him use his feet a little bit more. But he sprains an ankle. He gets hit a little bit too hard. He's a little bit rough. That could definitely affect him. I mean, RG3 took the world by storm his rookie season with the Washington Redskins. And then all of a sudden injuries start piling up and bang, you can't do it anymore. I think Lamar Jackson is a much more durable quarterback than RG3. But anytime you play a position where you can get hit a lot, no matter what it is on football, the chances of you getting hurt are obviously high. I mean, that's just the way the game is. Jacoby Brissett is that perfect model right now where they have him in a pocket. He'll run if he has to. He's a good slider. He's smart. And that offensive line with Chris Ballard's big brain, I think will protect him for years and years to come. I like Jacoby Brissett a lot.
Do you think that Baker's lack of accuracy, for a better word for it, and his lack of size combined with lack of speed keeps him from being in the Drew Brees conversation as a comparison?
I don't know. I think he's faster than Drew Brees.
Yeah, I'd argue he's a better athlete.
Yeah,
than
he's a
Drew
better
Brees.
athlete than Drew Brees. Drew Brees is in the pocket, right? Drew Brees is in the pocket.
But Drew Brees has those other attributes that he does not.
Yes, exactly. Drew Brees
So
is
he's
in
0 for 3. Brees is 2 for 3.
Well, Drew Brees is also, I mean, he's been in the league a long time, so he knows every single defense. I think Baker's big flaw here, and I'm no quarterback guru, right? I'm no quarterback guru. But whenever I watch him, it seems as if he's checking into plays that he thinks are going to work against a defense. And with Wade Phillips, he was just disguising some things, and Baker was getting tricked, right? He said he always looks up to Brett Favre. He said, Brett Favre's my guy, Brett Favre's my guy. Brett Favre didn't even know what a nickel defense was. So you got to respect the fact that he's just a gunslinger, let it loose, I'm going to go play. But at some point, Baker's going to learn all these different defensive things. He's going to know what to do. Will it come sooner than later? You would hope if you're a Browns fans. But I think if you looked into Hard Knocks, Baker Mayfield's a field guy. I want to play. I'm a competitive guy. He's not going to be staying there for 10 hours watching film. I mean, that's just not the way Baker plays. And by the way, that's what makes him good, and that could potentially be what hurts him here early. I think he'll figure it out eventually. I don't think he's overrated. I think he is a guy that has a lot of promise. I just think the guy who's underrated in this entire thing is Jacoby Brissett.